We're live. Okay, Podcocks are back, bitches. Yeah. We are here today.
That was a really aggressive intro. Wow.
We haven't done a podcast since June.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're back for you guys. You got us out of our slumber. We are with the Cold Year here, everybody. It's a band in Salt Lake. They're all right.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brett. You're the best.
Yeah. Really appreciate that.
But we're gonna, we fucking need viewership, so we're gonna invite them anyways.
We're the biggest.
Wow.
We're the biggest band to come out of Utah
special.
since Imagine Dragons. No. Yeah.
Are they from Utah?
Yeah.
They're
from
not
Utah.
actually. The singer is from Utah, but they are a Las Vegas band.
Oh.
They're in New York.
Well, because they played shows in Floor.
The guitar player went to
Juilliard?
Juilliard.
Can we not
That's
talk
what
about Imagine Dragons? Thank you.
Oh, yeah, we're
Sorry,
with the Cold
it's
Year.
my fault. It's my fault. I brought it
started
up. I
this.
did start it.
Wow. Way to
So
go.
didn't the U's come from Utah? They're probably the...
Yeah,
Oh,
from
yeah.
Pleasant Grove.
Yeah.
Burt McCracken went to PG High.
Yep. Okay. Focus, everybody. So the Cold Year. So everybody can get used to your voice. Say who you are, what instrument you play, and then what you would do if the last waiter or waitress that served you licked your ear before you left.
Josh, start us off.
I'm just trying to remember
Careful, you're
the
married.
last waiter or waitress that
name?
served me. Okay, sorry.
Occupation.
My name is Josh Cannon. I play the drums. And the last, I don't even remember, so I'm going to go with the last person that helped me anywhere that I got food, which was Baskin Robbins. Last night.
Nice.
And
Nice.
there was a nice young lady that worked behind there, and if she licked my ear, I'd probably just hurry and leave before
Oh.
anybody
Before his wife
recorded it or something.
caught on. Caitlin would absolutely destroy someone. I
Oh,
can
you're
see that.
taken?
She wouldn't. Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going
The
to...
ring and all
Yeah,
that.
that's
We're done.
unfortunate. Yeah, it was
No point anymore.
Game over.
My name is Matthew Skaggs. I have a cold, and also I play guitar and sing. And I'd probably just wink at him, just like, and then leave.
Week of appreciation.
Yeah, just like a thank you wink. Like I do that all the time. Like instead of saying anything, I'm like, yeah. For our viewers who are listening to the audio, I just winked at Brett
Aggressively.
aggressively.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
While simultaneously going,
They
They were kind of at the same time.
That's
They
an
were kind
audio
of
thing.
conjoined.
oh, right. Yeah, you're right.
Wow, man. You're on top
Audio
of it
audio
today.
and video is very difficult for me.
You don't know which one you're part
you
of right now.
described sound. Good job.
That's
Welcome to AV. I'm Mitch. I play bass in the Cold Year, and if the last waitress that licked my ear, man, I think it was at
the
Ice
last
House.
one that looked at your ear.
Well, the last one that did lick my ear. Well, let's see what happened there. The story goes as follows. I
that's
just
not a normal Friday
fell to
night
the ground
for you
and
guys?
seized. Yeah, just
Yeah.
gone.
Cool.
That
But
sweet spot.
That's a good
yeah,
one.
just hit the ear, and I was just, no, can't do it.
No.
Down to the ground.
Due to orgasms
Well,
or due to
I don't like my ears being touched,
Oh,
so
okay,
probably
there it
that
is.
more than
That's-
anything.
Okay, so actual like
My ears, is like
Right.
in relationships, like girls, touch your ears,
Dude,
that's sexual
weird.
and sensual, and it's just like,
We're
no,
done.
thank you. My ears
That's
have
gross.
just don't need to be touched or played with.
No, I agree with that. That's gross.
We're about to get really close here,
Oh,
guys.
yeah.
I have
Intimacy.
such a ticklish ass. I can't handle anybody touching my ass.
You should have said that.
I know things that I'm really happy to know now.
Yeah, it was weak spot, you know.
You know
Dude,
what?
I
Now
just,
we know
I,
your
on the
weakness.
ground.
That gives me a
Tickles
great
ass.
idea for a new music video.
oh, really?
Yeah,
Tickling
the
Brett's
cold,
ass?
The Cold Year's new music video is just gonna be the entire song of us tickling Brett's ass in
We
front
just
of a
hold you
green
down
screen.
and tickle you.
And
Wow.
he slowly changes size.
And we have to jump on his ass to tickle it.
I'll pulse the size of my ass with the laughs.
And it's just us like, oh. No, that's weird. I don't like
No,
that.
we're not
man,
doing that.
I'm
We're-
freaked out.
I told you we were about to get close.
I'm
Well,
just-
that's not that weird. That's basically what was happening that one time in Logan.
This
You know,
happened.
Cody
Oh.
was making me
This is a
laugh
story.
when I was on the bed.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
Screw the rest of the
Laugh my ass
podcast.
with
This is
the-
story time.
Well, it's kind of a short story. They were making me laugh really hard. I was laying down like on a bed,
His butt started jiggling, and we thought it was
Yeah.
funny.
Like I was tense every time I laughed because I was laughing so hard. Just clench.
We had definitely done some
Clench.
So,
we had definitely done some marijuana, so it was about
Some
10
weeds?
times funnier than it should have been.
That's illegal,
That was
my
bad.
friend.
some grass.
Oh,
You definitely
I mean,
drank some weed.
Yeah.
You injected some
In-
weed.
Injected the greens.
Marijuana.
I remember those jokes from high school.
Yeah,
Mary,
it was
who's
funny.
Jew, Hannah?
What?
Well, so why
Yeah.
are you guys here?
Wouldn't you like to know?
They're invited.
Yeah,
Well, that's
you were like,
You-
"Hey, dude, be on my podcast," and we were like, maybe not." And you'd be like, "I'll pay you," and I was like, "All right."
what's
Yeah,
the
you
and
paid
worse.
us a lot of money
Thank
to be
you.
here, dude. That's why we're here.
Yeah, that's gonna go down on record as of right now.
Yeah,
So.
it was on record.
Oh yeah, I think I remember us saying we'll.
The
do
moment
it.
I walked
I'll
in,
pay
he
you on
handed me a
camera.
briefcase.
Yeah. Okay, so these
We're-
guys have an album coming out.
Yeah,
That's
I was
probably
gonna
why
cut
we're here.
straight to it and just be like, "We have an album, I guess,
Aw.
Coming out on Friday. This Friday.
this Friday,
October 4th.
October 4th,
2019, Matt.
2019, not 2018,
So we're playing a show
2019.
at the Beehive, 666 South State Street. But then the album will be on all
in
streaming platforms.
Salt Lake City. Yes,
And you
also
can,
Salt Lake City.
Isn't that where we went to that drag show, Brett?
That is probably the place.
Probably.
It is.
I
It's
think it
very
was.
commonly used
Oh my
for
God, you're right. It was
the Beehive.
Well, there's the Metro and the Beehive, and they've done
Well, Metro
Beehive.
does
Beehive will
that.
do
Those are the
burlesque.
ones
We
with the
we did.
Metro.
Yeah, it was a
the
burlesque
Beehive.
drag
Yeah.
show.
I totally
Alright.
forgot about that.
Then
Been
yeah,
there.
it was
It was also a
Beehive.
potluck, and I brought the only good food.
Cool.
potluck,
A potluck
drag
drag show.
show.
What
Sounds
was it
so
that you cooked
exciting.
again?
I got a big old pot of jambalaya.
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, dude, it was so good.
I'm so hungry. I literally have only eaten peanuts and a protein shake today. That's and I said peanuts.
Not just a single peanut.
Yeah.
Like multiple.
Just
No,
one
like
nut.
yeah.
Yeah, peanuts.
I ate peanuts.
Peanut.
Penis.
The
Wait,
pea
what?
is stored in the balls. Peanuts.
Yep, peanuts.
So we are here to talk about the fucking like recording of shit.
So official. The fucking shit that we're going to talk about is the most awesome stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the idea I had, Mitch was not here for it. The idea I had is I've always like wished, like when people go on interviews or whatever, they would like listen to the song with people and actually like pause and break down stuff. So we were thinking about listening to the single, and then you guys could just hit pause when you got a thought about like what went on in the recording, the
So, like,
writing, or anything.
Commentary for the song.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do that. I think that would be super fun.
Wow. All right, Steven Spielberg, let's do this.
Yeah.
First,
I like it.
world's first, except it
It
probably
is
is
And
not.
what song
but-
are we doing? Are we doing the...
the masses,
The
which is
Masses?
the single from the
good,
album.
'cause I
So if I
listened to that
stop
one.
you every like 15 to 5 seconds, like
I was gonna say
Okay.
15 minutes.
Five. Okay, that note was an A.
That's a
okay,
bass.
Play. Okay.
that
that note
note-
was a C.
so-
okay.
bass.
Okay.
that
play
note
again.
that you just heard is my reflection of where I was as a child during some very inappropriate moments in
I
my
wrote
life.
this song.
So it's gonna get heavy.
This one note, this G sharp that I hit, it came from the soul.
It's actually an F
Came
flat.
from deep within my pelvic regions.
It came from the. That's where your soul's stored?
Yeah.
It's stored in the balls.
It's in the
If your
fanny
soul
pack. The fanny
isn't
pack
coming from your
it's the
groin, then
fanny
you
pack
don't
of the
have a soul.
Like, you keep your soul where you'd keep your fanny pack.
Oh, but what if you're one of those dumbasses who straps it around their chest? Like,
They don't
Hey,
have
whoa,
souls.
Yeah.
we don't
Yeah.
talk about Gen
They
Z
don't
here.
count.
Yeah, they don't have souls.
okay, yeah, okay, gotcha. They
Give me 5 years and I'll be ranting and raving about Gen Zers as bad as boomers rant and rave about millennials.
Oh, boy.
It's going to be bad, even though, I really don't give a shit.
dude. I just play video games.
Yeah.
I don't pay attention to the Gen Zers.
I'm just trying to get on their level, but I can't because I don't understand the youth anymore.
exactly.
Wow.
That's when you know you're aging. Is when you don't
Matt,
get the jokes
you're
anymore.
so
Yeah.
elderly now.
Yeah.
I mean, you've just grown
Are
like
you gonna
30
be one
years.
of those dads who's trying to be cool their whole kid's life?
No, I'm gonna be the dad who's in like a blues rock band, and he forces his kids to come to every show, and he forces his kids to listen to Led Zeppelin, and then when they're like,
He's
"Dad,
gonna-
I don't really like Led Zeppelin," I'll be like, "You're not my son
He's
anymore."
gonna have a Marshall. He's gonna have a Marshall stack and a PRS.
Yeah,
and he's gonna sit in
PRS.
there, and then
The moment I hit that middle age, I'm gonna buy a PRS. No offense to everybody
I have
in
a
their
PRS.
20s. Yeah, here we go.
I'm offended.
You know,
Hey, everybody.
I don't really care that much. I'm more of a. What was that?
That was the ox that's getting mad.
So in other words,
Play me, bitch.
Yeah, you're old.
you're a dad rock band already.
Yeah, you're already in a dad rock band.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It's an SC. If
What
that
was
makes
the-
it any better, it's the cheap PRS. And I
That
don't
makes
have it.
that doesn't make it any better.
Years
I have a Jericho
ago,
now.
I remember
It's
we
a
were
gent machine.
What
even
was
though I don't
the-
play
Gent
gent.
machine.
the Instagram that we used to follow. It was like the Dad Rock Instagram.
Oh
and
no,
it-
I still follow Rigs of Dad.
Rigs of Dad.
It's my favorite.
and it is just like parodies of like
Shout
pictures.
out.
Yeah, they take pictures. It's like just random pictures of like dudes like anywhere from like 40 to like 75.
older
And
guitarists.
it just does a whole parody on the band name and the biography and
Yeah.
what their music's about, and it's
It's really good.
Oh, it
It's
kills me.
highly recommended on Instagram is Rigs of Dad. It's so good. So good.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Yeah, do it.
there's
I'll
only
put
like
it-
6
I'll put it
pictures.
on my
You
list.
should, PRS man.
That'll go on my pages to check later list.
Yeah, exactly. I'll put that on my list. There is
The
no
list.
list, Brett. There
You guys
is
just fucking
no
say
list.
shit I didn't say.
I'm so mad at you right now.
Oh, actually, would you guys consider yourselves cucks?
I don't
I don't know what that means.
know how
Like-
it depends on how you
Pod
define
cucks,
it.
man.
So cucks isn't like bastards.
No, isn't a cuck like when a man lets his like significant other fuck another man because he
That's
does
part of it. That's like what people have generally associated it to. But the actual definition of a cuck is a passive male.
Oh no,
Well,
I'll hump anything that moves. I'm incredibly aggressive all the time.
I wasn't saying sexually passive,
You looked at me with those eyes.
but
and-
that does prove your point.
Yeah, I read between the lines.
Okay.
Okay,
Are we ready for this?
We're ready.
I'm not a cuck. I'm sorry. Not.
I don't know how. I mean, yeah, I'm just go for it. Music time.
Yeah, music time.
He's a cuck.
Oh, that's mean.
He's trying hard
We've
for
been
the
dicks
audience.
the whole time.
Yeah, it's fine.
That's the whole point of this band, isn't it? Huh? Did I
Yeah.
unravel everything?
It's just to
This
make
whole-
Mitch
this
look like
whole
a
band
huge
is to
loser.
prove you're not a cuck.
Yeah. Oh, that. I thought this band was all
Podcast is
about
gonna take a
making
weird
Mitch
left
look
turn.
good.
I gotta say, Mitch, you definitely got the best rock out skills of most bass players I've seen.
Thank you. That is
Yeah.
my forte and my favorite part.
Yeah, you're always rocking out. You're fucking killing it
Yeah.
over there.
Thanks,
good,
man.
Good props.
I
I
love the
remember the first show we
entertainment.
played together. I was like, "Oh damn!" They
He wasn't ready for it because in practice I just stand there and I play the music.
Yeah.
Just like I mean, just like jam out a little bit, but like first show comes around, he's like, "Holy shit, what the? How do that?"
To be honest, I feel like there's a little bit of an art to it. Like I know people who are like, "It looks like they're forcing it." It's like you kind of have to get used to it because as soon
Yeah.
as you do try and groove out, you like are so not used to where your hand is on the board while you're doing that
Yeah, I
like
struggle
you
with
kind
that.
of lose it. So I kind of feel like you have to force yourself
Well,
a little bit to actually be able to
Yeah. Well,
realistically.
And you almost have
practice-
to, like-
I practice standing up a lot specifically for that. Like I will literally turn on my amp and I'll play through our songs while I'm standing with a microphone.
Yeah.
Just because it helps me have that spatial awareness, but also like I can make sure that I'm not rocking out too hard when like a really difficult section is coming up, and then I have to like break out of rock out mat and into guitar solo mat.
Yeah,
and that
there-
takes a second.
There's actually more practice and an art to it. Like some people just think, or some people just rock out.
Yeah,
But I
people-
bet you anything before those people were doing their huge flips and guitar spins and shit,
Yeah.
they're like literally doing it over and over.
And
and
Oh,
over.
for
one.
sure.
Oh,
And-
trust me, like this isn't something
And
that just
one-
happened just for the cold year. Like this is 10 plus years of being in bands and finding something that on stage like I get comfortable with. And I mean, honestly, like I'm kind of don't nerd out, but like I researched like in a way like live presence. Like I mean, not only do like when I go to a show and I watch specifically for what people do live, but I've watched videos of YouTube videos of live bands, my favorite bands. I mean, I love watching Green Day live. Green Day, Mike Dirnson from Green Day is a badass on stage, and of course Flea. I mean, who's
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that
Been-
guy's fucking crazy. It's so funny.
who
that
doesn't
he-
love like a live performance by Flea?
It blew my mind when I found out he was the one who hasn't done drugs in the band. I was like, what? But I feel like that's actually a good thing for a lot of people to know who get into
Yeah.
music, because some people keep thinking it's about this natural talent and less like educating yourself
Yeah.
to that level, especially when it comes to singing.
Well, you like
So many people think singing is
Yeah.
just like, oh yeah, I just wasn't born with a naturally gifted voice. I'm like,
no one is.
you're
bitch.
everybody's born with a range of how good they can be, but you can be about 10 times better than you
Yeah.
currently are easily.
There
Anybody.
are definitely people out there who are just like they can
Stupid
approach
talented.
a mic and just blast it, but even then, like sometimes you'll hear them and you'll just be like, "That's so unrefined," though. Like that's the problem with it.
I was at a gas station a little bit ago, and there was this African American dude who was like working on one of the pumps, and he was singing fucking magical
Yeah.
voice. Like it was straight, like he was doing some blues stuff or whatever, and there was families going up and like, can we record you? And like I wanted to go do it, but I'm like, no, I'm not.
I'm too cool for that shit.
I'm not a cook.
I don't like things. I'm a man. I'm not allowed to like things.
So I just instead stayed at my spot
And casually
overfill-
like filled with joy as you listen to him from a
yeah,
distance.
no, my car was done filling up, and I just kind of sat there for a while listening to him. He was good though.
yeah.
That's awesome.
They're just people who are like that. But again, like even they have to practice at some point. Like you can't just be naturally talented and then as long as you don't cultivate it, it's not just going to be there.
Except for
Eventually,
Polynesians.
it will
Polynesians have
die.
a naturally beautiful voice.
Oh,
Period.
well.
Yeah, I mean it's just
Yeah.
fact of the matter.
But
I do have friends that prove that true.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, see?
they
wonderful
literally
singers.
just you
Fact
pull
of
out the
life.
guitar and you start playing and they all start singing and you're just like, oh my god, the angels. Oh.
Better than
And
angels.
this was an intervention, Hayden. We're trying to tell you that you need to start practicing. Have we convinced you yet?
No.
Practice-
I'm like musically inept, so I'm just sitting here like, yeah, I can't relate.
You oversold
Can't
it.
relate to that.
You
Yeah.
fucking oversold
I always
it. This is your
oversell
fucking-
things.
God
That's
damn
my
it.
problem.
All right, and you just say pause whenever, and
So this
You
is
pause whenever too if you have
The
any.
Masses by
I'll
the
pause
Cold Year.
if I got questions. I really like the song,
Thank you.
specifically your bass riff,
Oh my god.
dude.
Mm.
When that thing kicks in, I'm just like, oh yeah. Okay.
Feeling.
What's funny is when I was like we should do the single. He was like, oh, is that the one that's like do 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 do? And I was like, what's a do 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 do? And then and then I was like,
Wow.
oh, the melody. That's the bass line from the song, right?
I mean, how else do you make a bass line with your mouth without a dude?
I don't know. You could like yeah,
Like
You're right.
almost like beatboxing, but you just stop with the spitting part.
yeah.
That's the real reason we put the filters on
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
At some
Use
point,
those.
Matt was gonna try and.
No.
I'm not gonna take the filter off.
Okay, everybody focus.
So I really like this part.
I was gonna say and stop.
Love those ghost notes on the.
Thank you.
That sounds sweet.
We don't have to stop it, but that is one thing. Like, I felt like I tried to mix it up from everything that I was doing in all the other songs and
Yeah.
just do something different. or
Yeah,
whatever.
I like different.
Yeah, I like it.
The-
It fills the empty space really
And
well.
I'm really glad that we thought of the tambourine in those hits because that just really fills out the space.
Yeah,
So
that's the funnest part about some albums is adding those little extra things in
Uh-huh.
there. It's
So
so
you don't
fun.
do live.
The little
Yeah.
sprinkles.
Yeah,
well, it's
little
like that,
sprinkles.
and then yeah. So
yeah, those are freaking awesome. Continuing.
It's not loud enough. I'm not drunk enough. I'm not high enough. I can still hear my thoughts.
you can pause it there.
All right.
So that lyric, this song is kind of about the initial falling away from like a chosen community
religion.
or religion, in this case religion because of the LDS community here in Utah. Kind of that initial fall away when you're like, you know what, I'm no longer this now, and then you kind of barrel in the opposite direction of what you were taught. So it's kind of that I'm not high enough, I'm not drunk enough. It's not loud enough. Like I just need.
Oh, it's kinda like a
I need
panic.
to drown that guilt out or whatever, or like I need to do something. You know, like when you kind of get into that after the initial, exit, some people just tend to kind of go a little crazy.
I
And
did.
That's kind of about this. That's kind of what that's about. Is it's you're going crazy, and the reason why they do it is because I feel like there's a modicum of guilt. So that's kind of what that lyric is it's I'm not drunk enough, I'm not high enough, it's not loud enough, I can still hear my thoughts.
Yeah.
you know?
Well, and also like sometimes you need to learn the consequences of something.
Yeah.
And religion, like a lot, or specifically if you're raised in religion, like here in Utah,
Yeah.
your family's trying to protect you from that stuff, or they have a terrible idea of what it is. I
Yeah.
remember the first time I had a beer, I'm like,
You thought you
I
would
don't feel
explode.
evil.
Yeah. yeah.
Why is this so
100%.
wrong?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like
I
this
don't really
isn't
feel like
that
I-
bad.
Like
Yeah.
my first rock concert, like it was that kind of like, oh, I'm not bursting into flames.
Yeah. It's
I
like,
actually
don't-
really
I don't-
enjoy what is happening right now.
Yeah, I don't
like-
feel like I'm teabagging God right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
I feel like
foosball's
he's
the
okay
devil.
with this.
Like
Yeah.
honestly, like I'm having so much fun that I feel like God is like smiling down, like, yeah, you get in that pit, bitch.
He's got like a first beer counter for all his
Yeah,
children.
there you go.
Oh, there's another one! Yay!
All right, so you can
I'm not meek enough.
Really like what you're doing with your vocals here too.
thanks.
I'm not loved enough. I'm not broke enough to stop this addiction.
Let's pause real quick. And right before we get into the chorus, I just wanted to kind of say, like, and towards not, well, I'll say one thing with my part and then one thing with kind of both of our parts. Going into the chorus, I remember writing the song, and I remember the bass line, I wanted it to kind of follow kind of the verse, but something about it just didn't kind of, it wasn't as impactful. So I remember I was just messing around, and I hit this, what is it, like a high A, and then I dropped down to like an A flat, and it just, you can hear this little bit of a kind of like an off note in the bass at the very end of each end of the chorus line, which I just fell in love with, and then just some slides with it after that. But then what I was gonna say with both our parts after that, if you can hear it, but we use octave chords and things like that. We both use octave chords, and we do this cool climb that goes
Yeah.
up and forth and then descends.
Yeah.
So I
That's,
think
that's
those are,
coming up.
Yep.
But I was just going to say the second verse is kind of the aftermath of the
What-
initial leaving. So it's, I'm not meek enough, I'm not broke enough, I'm not loved enough to give up this addiction. Basically, it's that point where you like, okay, I've experienced what I need to experience, but oh God, I might have a problem now, you know?
Oh yeah.
Which is kind of that. That's at least my experience.
Oh,
was
cool.
my experience, and so that's kind of where I'm coming from with that. Is I know, like, I've left this church, which in this case is a huge part of the local community. Like you know your neighbors because you see them at church, you know. And so when you're saying like I'm not loved enough, it's if kind of when you leave an initial feeling of being an outcast. you
Yeah.
know? And I'm not meek enough because that's all religion is about. It's like being meek and, quiet and submissive. And so it's like, I'm not that anymore. I'm not loved enough and I'm not broke enough. So I'm just going to keep on, fueling this addiction. So that's kind of
okay.
what that's about.
I like
so
it.
it's the beginning and after of a big, like, final exit.
Ah,
if that makes
This
sense.
is awesome. I love this crap.
commentary to music.
Yeah, dude,
Yeah,
it's
just-
super. Like, it's seriously
um,
what I wanted from so many of my musicians or like people I like admire.
Yeah.
Like just a straight breakdown of one of your
Yeah.
songs instead of like this quick summary from some interview
Yeah.
person. Like, yeah, I like this song. What was the insemination of the song? Was it like improv or was it like really working like record this, record that?
Yeah, so the
Like-
chorus for the song I wrote, I'd been sitting on since like the band started almost. Like I've been sitting on that riff for a long time, and this song probably went through like 6 iterations of like structuring, lyrical information, everything, and I just hated everything that happened to it. And then I was playing another chord progression, and they ended up being in the same key, and so I just used one as that kind of initial verse that you hear, and then the chorus is the riff that I've literally been like playing for years. You know?
Yeah, it's
And
pretty
just
wild.
never had a place to put it.
We kind of like picked at it, I think, here and there over the years, and it just never took really roots until like
Yeah.
the last year and a half ago.
Until I
think.
finally wrote.
Make sure that microphone's directly pointed at your face.
Oh my goodness, it's right here. Okay,
So, but yeah, no, that's true. 100% is that's what kind of happened. And then because it was like 3 parts. I had this great guitar riff, but I hated every lyric I wrote, and I hate all the vocal things that I was writing. I finally had like a riff that I liked, and then I took the chorus and we just combined the two, and then it just flowed to me, and I knew exactly what I wanted to write the song about. I knew exactly what I wanted to say, how to say it, and it just happened, and that was kind of that culmination. And then when Josh finally got it into the studio and sat down with it and did the drums for it, like
took life.
it, yeah,
Well,
completely.
that's what I was gonna say. It's cool to like they kind of had it all.
Make sure that
structured out.
microphone's
Oh,
right
yeah,
at your
sorry.
face.
They had it all kind of structured out and set, and then especially those notes that Mitch was talking about on the offbeats in the
Yeah.
chorus. You told me you wanted me to accent that a lot and really bring it out, and I was able to kind of be creative and try and build
Yeah.
rhythm into the song that accented what they were trying to do, and like just kind of fit myself into the song already, and just kind of I don't know.
Yeah, no, it definitely took a whole new life, because before Josh had joined the band, the drum part had just been like super minimalistic, and the song felt very different. But with a lot of the ghost notes and the kind of rhythmic pattern of the song, it actually made it feel a little more like not upbeat, but a little more in your face, I guess. Yeah.
Like I said, it fills the empty space a lot
Yeah.
really well.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah. Let's get into that chorus.
Love the echo.
Kramer tape delay, man.
Thank you.
Change like
Love this part.
And then there's a big pause right after this part that just the keys and I
Oh,
miss
yeah.
the keys.
Yeah. Because even when we started performing this one live, I never knew what to do there.
Yeah, I like how there's like a post chorus like jam out, but it's
Yeah.
like super chill. Like I
Just-
really
it's a
enjoyed
cool
that.
down almost.
Well,
It's
yeah,
just
it's
like
really
with this
minimal.
big
We
part
have
that
to,
just
like-
hits you, and then just
Yeah.
like, let's go back.
Yeah,
Bring
but
it
I
back
also
down.
like that it like isn't like trying to follow anything else prior to it, because one of the formulas you see in like a lot of rock is like, okay, we're going to start with our post-chorus metal riff for the intro of the song, and then after every single fucking chorus you'll do that and then
Right.
double it at the end.
Yep.
Right.
Instead, you're doing that same idea that they like about the jamming after the chorus, only with an entirely unique part
Yeah,
that doesn't exist
The
anywhere else.
structure as far as songs go, I enjoy, because on one hand, it's really easy to just go with the classic verse chorus bridge chorus or whatever, because that's really easy and it sounds good, and there's a reason it sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
But then also playing with structure a lot is also kind of a fun way to invigorate the song. Like this song, it starts one way and it ends completely different.
Yeah.
Like insanely different. And I like doing things like that, but at the same time I don't feel any guilt for going back to the standard like pop verse chorus bridge chorus kind
Yeah,
of thing.
I mean, it does exist for a reason.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
it does help keep attention well, and yeah, like but playing with it and throwing those little things,
Yeah.
those little elements are, I think, what actually make the song really listenable.
Yeah.
You get like this tiny little snippet of like something that you're like, oh, that was really cool, and it makes it worth watching the song again.
Yeah.
Just like how I said to you, is like, oh, I love this part. Yo, dude.
All right.
rich enough. I'm not woke enough.
I think that's Mitch's favorite verse.
I'm not woke
Not
enough.
woken up.
Yeah,
Not woken
I'm
up.
just not woke. No,
Stay woke.
I just always think it's funny.
To be this cynical.
The build up here is awesome.
Huge shout out. Let's pause it there. So huge shout out to Emma Hansen. Did the backing vocals for this song. She like absolutely knew exactly what it needed, and that was because like again, the song started off as a riff, and it just slowly built, and every new portion that we added just made it better and better and better. And that's one of the reasons why I love like bringing riffs to these guys and just letting them kind of take it and do what they want with it is really nice, because it goes in it oftentimes goes in places that completely unexpectedly, and I enjoy that. And sometimes like a song won't go the way I was thinking, and I'll get kind of upset, and then I just have to be like, no, that's great, I love that, you know? That's like one of my favorite things about this band is I can write a riff, have an idea, and then they'll completely subvert my expectations, but in like a positive manner. And if it's not positive, then I'll usually be like,
I hate that, and you should go die in a ditch. And,
exactly.
You're out of the band. What? I mean, that.
One of the things I try to do in our band is when somebody introduces an idea, I normally try to give it just a little bit of time, because sometimes the only reason you dislike it is because you're so used to hearing it in a different way. Yeah, so sometimes you gotta like give it a little bit of time. But yeah, other times I'm just like, nope. Nope.
I talk myself out of it a
Get that
lot.
shit
like,
out of here.
Like a riff, like a riff will be played that's not my own, and I'll think, oh no, well, oh my god, I fucking love that. Yeah, and that happens all the time. Like Mitch takes things in places that I don't expect, and at first I'm like,
It's legit. Two groans. There's a little groan.
Mitch,
but then there's like
and Mitch can recognize it
groan.
because he'll play a riff, and I'll be like, and for the audio audience at home, I'll explain this later. At first, Mitch will be like, and then as he continues to play it, I'm like, oh. Yeah. So for our audio listening people at home, I just backed away from the mic, looked really skeptical, and then slowly came around and then groaned and approached the mic.
Wait, I'm getting a text. They
Yeah.
said thanks.
You're welcome, audio listeners.
Now they know. Now they know.
Now then, all right, you can continue. Sorry.
This chord coming up, so there's two chords and this third chord. I remember I couldn't figure out what to play too, and I just hit this chord, and Matt's like, I love that. Yeah. That chord, it's so wrong, but it's perfect.
That's jazz, man.
That's jazz.
Yeah.
But it's like I just
jazz, cool
remember
cats.
being in the room, and he's just like so excited about this off-sounding.
Well, because we were literally like, I was workshopping that riff to you, and you were like, it sounds weird, and I'm like, yeah, but I kind of like the weirdness. But then when we were writing the bass line for it, I was just like, no, like
No.
I don't want a normal bass.
I want
riff.
just
I want
chords
something.
and big, and I just he's like following the notes, and and I just hit a note, and he just like blew up like kid in a candy store. Just like, woohoo! It's just the best thing in the world.
Yeah, 100%.
It's so funny. Like,
That's a more
I don't know.
Just
that's
like
more-
that, exactly.
That's a more accurate representation of how I come around to ideas. Mitch will play it, and I'll be like, and then I'll be like, candy,
Just like that.
100%.
We're really pulling back the curtain here.
Yeah,
Oh, man.
the cold year.
Welcome,
raw.
welcome to our lives.
Raw cold year here.
It's about to get warm week.
That chord. Ugh. It's so
This I like
beautifully
this.
wrong.
And then the bass.
Again, shout out to Emma.
Yeah, the bass riff. Sorry, not to go down. The
Yeah,
bass
nice.
riff. The one thing that it should be overstaying its welcome, because you continue it for the rest of the song here,
Yeah.
and it doesn't though. Like you wrote a good enough bass riff that just makes me so horny that like you hear it for literally like almost a third of the song,
Yeah.
and it just doesn't get
Well,
old.
and like that's the thing is that's
and
why
you're even changing shit around musically while he's still doing the
Yeah.
same thing, and it's still just
yeah.
as
Well,
great.
like that's the thing is that's one of the reasons why we added backing vocals at that point, because we were listening to the song and we were just like, that section before like my vocals come in is empty, and there's nothing there to kind of create this ooh scary ooh kind of sound.
she's good.
And so Emma's like doing the really high, like soaring vocals over the top, really fills in that space, especially because like the guitar part and the bass part are consistent. I'm literally just doing B minor, F sharp minor, C sharp minor, and that's all I'm playing for the rest of the song as well. But then Mitch's bass line elevates that, and the vocals elevate
And
that
I just
on top.
also with Josh too in that part, and just like there's that pause, like just like you mentioned, that dun, 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 and then dun, dun,
Yeah.
just, and it feels just so good, like that pause, and also how impactful the drums are at the very
Yeah.
end, but how open and spacey they are.
Yeah.
Just-
Yeah.
it's not like it's not busy drumming, but it's not like quiet and meek. It's just this big.
Try to be heavy without being.
Just I love you,
overbearing.
Josh, and I think you're amazing.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mitch. I love you too, Mitch.
Who's the guy who mixed it? He did a great job.
Jason.
Jason.
Jason Knoll, H2
Yeah.
Audio.
Huge credit to him.
And
'Cause
shout out
I
to
heard
him.
both versions, and the
Mass-
song sounds great, but he really got that bigness that you're
Oh yeah.
talking
Oh,
about.
then
He
and then
nailed
Grant
that.
Matheson mastered it.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, and-
he like that's one of the best mastering experiences I've had, because he
Oh,
literally
that's what I was thinking. The
he sent it
mastering,
to me and I listened to it. I was like, this is perfect. And that was it. And then I had to send it to Jason, and Jason was like, well, this thing can be tweaked. This thing can be tweaked. I was like, okay, I guess. And then he did it, and that was it. And
And it
I
just
was
got
in love.
better.
Like I legit like almost cried when we were hearing these songs, because of how much more impactful they were. With Praise the Goat, we wanted a light master because I'm not a huge fan of the loudness wars. However, the master that we got was good, but it was not. It wasn't enough.
It wasn't
we
dialed
still
in.
need power. We still need dynamics.
It wasn't dialed in because I don't think we had kind of our own sound. Because
Yeah.
we were all still buying equipment. We were also at that stage where like, I want that rig, but I can't afford it yet. And so
Yeah.
finally we were at that point where we're writing the new album. We're like, I finally have the rig I want.
Yeah, I'm happy.
So like I remember like being in the studio and like I have this new amp, new like bass. I mean everything's all tied together, and I'm just like, let's mic it, let's switch, and let's do this and this. And like we threw like 3 mics in a room for a bass amp, like 3
Yeah.
open mics and a DI,
Oh,
and we're
yeah.
just like, this is gonna be fat.
Yeah.
This is gonna be some fat
This is gonna be
in bass.
Because that's the thing is-
THICC.
Yeah, because that's the thing is like one of the things about the Cold Year is that it's a 3-piece, but the
Vic?
bass
Just piece that together when he spelled out.
took a bit.
I thought you were going with fat, and then I was like, wait, he said CC. PH. Thick?
Back.
Oh, fuck.
I've lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
Thank you.
It's his
I think you're
fault.
talking about like how
Everywhere.
we
Jesus Christ.
in the studio,
Oh,
how we
my
record
bad.
and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, just being able to
Experiment.
I'm big with experimentation. Like I'm not a fan of just plugging my bass directly into the board and just playing it as a dry signal and then taking that, manipulating it. There is some amount of that in the studio. We do definitely, obviously, touch, like manipulate stuff. However, like as much fun as it is to like throw a bunch of different mics onto a bass cab and just kind of see what happens, that's like my bread and butter for recording. Is that just, it's super fun for me, even though we could get just as powerful of a sound by just DIing him straight into the board.
Yeah.
It's just kind of more fun to think outside, and happy accidents do occur.
And it also just brings back to our live performance. Like when you
Yeah.
actually mic the rigs and you have that sound that comes off of your rig. I mean, when you go to
Yeah.
hear it live, like you come out to our show, like you're hearing what we did in the studio.
Dude, I always do a
100%.
live check on bands. Like,
it's just-
if I hear a band that I like on recording, I immediately see if I can't find something live, because I judge the fuck out of them if they don't sound the same.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and I
gotta
think
sound
that's
good
just,
live.
and I think that's a lot of people really like. We just, I mean, it sucks when you love a band on audio, like they just sound amazing on their recording, and then you go see them live or you watch them live, and you're just like, that's not even close.
Yeah.
Like, why are you
100%.
even writing music if you're not gonna make it like you sound?
Well, like, and me and Josh were talking about this earlier. Like, I do like some variance in a live set. However, I still want to be able to sing along in some cases. Like, I go to concerts not to be surrounded by sweaty, weird smelling people. It's to experience what the band is like live. And so if the band plays literally the album perfectly, 100%, track for track for track, I'm bored as shit, because I could just go home and listen to that and not have to deal with all these
Yeah.
fucking people around me. But if they do get up and they play the songs how I know them or close, and then they have moments of like spontaneity and
or
interest.
the also,
Oh yeah,
You know,
I
it's
was going
great.
literally for the sound quality.
Yeah.
but yeah, no. When our guitar,
or they'll throw new sounds or new things into a live song live or
Yeah.
something.
Mhm.
Like I like variance in those cases.
Yeah, Walker does a different solo every time.
Yeah.
If we have a solo
I do a
in
lot of
song,
different
he
solos.
always does a different one.
Yeah, I tend to have riffs that I stick with, but I also have moments of just I don't like to stick with the
just
single.
improv.
He'll have a
Yeah,
solo that
whatever
has
show.
like a first part, a middle part, and an end part, and then just like little flutters between all those
Yeah,
things.
or
like, kinda stuff
I'll
that-
write the first part, and then the middle part will be completely improvised, and then the third part will be another riff,
Yeah.
just to kind of tie it up in a bow.
because we wanted to make it sound like if someone, I mean, if you fall in love with that solo, like I mean, as a personal, like if you like, I don't know. Like, first thing that comes to mind is Cliffs of Dover.
Some
Yeah.
solos,
Like if I would,
Well,
listen
yeah,
to
that's
Cliffs of
here's-
Dover, like there's certain parts of
You
Cliffs of
always
Dover that
remember.
I want to hear, like in that
Yeah.
solo.
Well, here's the thing that I've noticed. I don't remember middles of solos. I remember how the solo begins and how the solo ends. I could not like recite for you an entire guitar solo like front, back, middle, and end. I could recite like the initial riffs and then maybe the riff at the end, and that's it. And so that's kind of my approach. Is like songs like Take 5. Everyone remembers the do 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 do. But I don't remember the solo in that song. I couldn't sing the solo for you. However, that riff is so good, and there's so much variance in it, and like the way he improvises over it, that it's like immediately just catchy. Like it just gets stuck in your head. So
Yeah.
that's kind of how I feel about that.
And that's the way the cookie
Yeah.
crumbles.
Yeah.
Is that how you feel about it?
That's exactly how I feel about it.
We're all like all on a
Glad you
different
do
world.
music. Yeah.
You're
Well,
just
it's-
like, yeah.
It's frustrating because I was listening to the Mass today like several times because it's really catchy. It was in my head.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I had
Yeah.
questions, and then like the first thing you said answered all my questions. Shit, I got nothing.
But it's okay. You just say the questions again, and we'll reiterate
Yeah,
them in
there
a
you
new
go.
way.
Yeah.
That's
Well, literally, it was like, okay, what is the song about? Like, where did you get these things from? Like, where does
Right.
the lyrics come from?
We talked
All
about that
and-
20 minutes ago.
Yeah,
Get on your game, bro.
yeah. I
I'm
know.
just kidding.
You're supposed to just interrupt them with
Yeah,
something.
you're supposed to say pause.
Well, literally, like the first thing you'd pause, like, and then answer all the questions. Like, shit, I got nothing.
Keep your goddamn mouth.
I'm glad you
pointed
could
at
answer the
mic.
questions.
Sorry,
I have so
I've
many-
like been trying to keep it like this
Okay,
because I've been
guys, we're
slowly
gonna have a
going
lovers
this way.
quarrel. Just calm down
All right.
for a second. You always fucking fuck up the goddamn audio.
Well, I'm sorry. I just
Well,
the la-
wait,
forget it's there.
lovers, please. One of you, like,
Who's the top and who's the bottom?
Well,
That's
it's-
all I need to
No,
know.
it's which one of you is the A and which one of you is the V, because you can't
Whoa.
both be AV, but you need to come together to
Form
make
a diamond?
the full AV thing, audio and video.
Oh, I thought you were going with shapes.
Yeah, I was thinking, what's
Oh,
A,
no,
what's
that's-
B? Like, how does this
Kiss.
work?
Look, I just say
I
triangle.
thought he was trying to say P and V because you know P and V might have made a little
No,
more sense. Like, who's the P and the
AV
V?
for audio visual.
I don't know. I don't think
Idiots.
you know what you're talking about, man. I feel like
Man,
I know what I'm talking about. Play the goddamn song.
only Matt knows what he's talking about.
Yeah,
and that's
play
kind of
the
the magic.
play the stupid song that we can so we can finish talking about it.
When my friends they're all fools, they're making all the rules. Can't allow it to continue. It's making me miserable. My friends they're all fools, they're making all the rules. When life calls on me, I just turn on the TV. Pray, pray like a baby.
love that thing you do. So my friends are all fools. They're making all the rules. What exactly are you referencing there?
So it's again kind of that community thing of like seeing the people that you kind of once knew kind of move on within the religion in this case. So you're saying like, oh, like look at those nerds, look at you know, but then they're making the rules. They're the bishops and the presidents and the apostles and whatever, and so that's kind of like because I'm
You
very
refer to them as friends as if like you don't completely hate them.
yeah, I don't. Like I legitimately have friends who are still within the Mormon church who I still absolutely love and adore and hang out with and spend time with. Like I'm not angry at them. It's not their fault.
That's the best way to handle it. I know people who really throw some hate that way.
Yeah.
You're all fucking morons. Bleh. And then they're,
It's a lot of my music comes from that place because it's a place that has given me a lot of pause. It's something that I've thought about extensively, and so I write a lot of stuff with that in mind purely for that reason. Like it's something that was such a huge part of my life, and the point of me leaving it and moving on was incredibly tumultuous, which means I have a lot of good material for it. You know,
Yeah.
it's easy to kind of look back and be like, look at how depressed I was. Now look at how happy I am now.
Well,
Yeah.
and it was relatable, especially for me too, because I went through a similar thing.
Yeah,
We all
we're
did, I
pretty much
think.
all
Yeah,
ex-Mormon.
we're all-
Yeah.
And it's
Somewhere
just
I
in that
hate it.
aspect.
What?
not hating.
Lucky
You're not ex-Mormon.
Yeah.
you are.
Oh shit!
Wait,
Wow.
I thought your
And the
parents
lovers'
never,
quarrel
like,
begins
gave a
again.
Shit about that.
Well, they didn't eventually, but for the first like 12 years of my life, we all went to church together.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Oh,
Nice.
Wow,
was
and you
like-
learned something new today.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
Literally
lived
talked
with
about it on the
fucking 7
podcast
years.
before, but you know,
It's something that
What? No, you haven't.
yeah, we have.
Whatever.
it's just something that
You just
everybody-
don't pay attention.
yeah.
It's just something that everybody can relate to. Like
A lot of people,
at
yeah.
some point, you're gonna go through that. Like figure out what you believe in. and
Yeah.
what you-
Well, and like
Well, we
that,
like to hope that people do. Like, I mean, we've talked about this before. That essentially you got a few different kinds of people. The people that decide, hey, I'm gonna try things out, and then not go back. Then you have the people that try things and then they go back to it because they just don't feel comfortable outside of it. And then you have the people that just never leave. So they just always stay in that culture and they just create more and more and
And
more of it, and just
you know, there's nothing wrong with that as long as they're making.
as long as they're happy too.
As long as they're happy, but as long as the rules that they're making aren't, you know, fucking other people over. Like
yeah, and
that's the thing is like they're making all the rules. Like God, like why? Like ugh, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I also have a lot of anti-authoritarian stuff in my music,
Anarchy.
and I see organized religion as like the authoritarian.
the patriarchy.
Yeah, overthrow it. 100%.
All right.
Dude, this fucking cable being over here is slowly making me
Okay,
just like
let's finish the song.
Hey,
Let's finish
guys.
this- the song's coming up.
Thank
yeah.
you so much for saying what you did about that bass line at the end, because I had such a love-hate relationship with that big bass line at the end. Because
why? You
Because-
fucking stupid.
well, no, like when you think about it, like when you write a riff that lasts that long, you got to think if people
No,
really
yeah,
don't
for real, yeah.
people don't really like this as much as like I like it, but I'm like worried that it's just too overbearing and too much.
Yeah.
And like I mean, I just kind of grew to like. I mean, I'm still gonna make it as. I'm just gonna
Dude,
rock
yeah.
with it and
If
just
that
go.
bass riff was a sauce, I'd dip my balls in it.
Oh man, thank you so much.
Wow, that's really nice.
the greatest
I'm glad-
compliment I've
Greatest
ever heard.
compliment. Wow.
And then have a chip after.
I'm gonna write my.
Nice.
Oh man.
Yeah, no. Well, that's the thing is like me and Jason when we were mixing the song, we like at one point kind of took a step back. It's like, does Mitch really play this bass line for like
Ever.
a solid couple minutes and we're not sick of it yet? That's good. So that's
Yeah.
kind of where that came from. Is we didn't even notice that we were literally listening to it for like 20 minutes at a time, like on loop, and while we were mixing it, and then we're like, you know what? I'm still not sick of it. And to this day, like when I hear it, I'm like, oh.
Well,
Yeah.
when I describe the song to people, because of that riff, I've added kind of like a heavy description to
Yeah.
it. Because it's seriously, it's not like a, but it still feels
It
that
hits
way.
you.
Yeah, like it's just
you,
a good riff.
You feel it.
That's my metal side coming out. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the side that a lot of like bands in kind of the indie genre are missing, I think, is
Dude,
or
you
like
can get heavy without
indie and
gent,
blues.
man.
You can get heavy without
Yeah.
needing distortion. You just need to know kind of how or what is needed.
The staccato.
Oh, like Karma Police is a great
Yeah,
example
exactly.
of that. That fucking
100%.
song thrashes.
Yeah. Well, like King Gizzard and Lizard Wizard's really good at that, where they'll do songs
no.
that are just it's not heavy. If you listen to it, it's not that heavy, but you still want to like
Yeah.
kind of break something almost.
Yeah.
And then they came out with Infest the Rat's Nest, which is so.
Dude, that album's heavy.
Oh, it's
I listened to it.
heavy,
I was
man.
like, whoa.
I love it. All right, let's finish this song.
All right.
Let's
yeah.
finish the song. It's almost over.
Take like you mean it. Hey,
love yelling at the end of songs.
I do it too.
That disgusting keys. Oh, I love that. So just. I love the percussiveness of it too.
Well, I never noticed that before.
Yeah. That's another theme of this album is really long bass notes after the song is ended. The song will end and then the bass will just kind of go on past
It's
it. It's
just
great.
it was interesting to play that riff at the end because I'm just like, okay, this is the end of the song. Everyone's stopped. I'm just let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just
Dude.
Well, and
ends
the
differently.
rawness, like we kept his fingers. Like a lot of bands will try to EQ out the fingers, like sliding across the instrument. We keep all the raw notes, like even those little, like
The
just
slip-ups.
slight little slip ups that
Yeah,
don't
you
actually
got it.
affect it. That we keep that in because I love
That's fucking
imperfection.
rock and roll, man.
Yeah, I love
Yeah.
imperfection in songs. Like
It's raw.
polished songs are great in some cases, but oftentimes it's kind of boring.
That's,
I like
that's
to
one of
hear
the
those
best things
wacky-
about like bands like at the drive-in and stuff like that. They
Yeah.
all record in the same room. If you isolate the drum tracks, you can hear the vocalist.
Yeah.
Like, I love that shit.
Yeah,
It just
It's-
adds to
it
that.
just-
like
yeah, it adds an extra
rocking
kind
out.
of power
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
it.
I really like triggered drums. They're the best.
Oh man, yeah, right. Oh fucking. I watched the new Periphery. I hate them so much. I hate Periphery, but I watched their new documentary. It's actually really good. But their drummer, they like literally he did the drums for everything. And then they keyed it
trigger-
all. They triggered it all out, and then
Yeah.
took away his actual take. I was like, "Are you fucking
Yeah.
kidding me? That's so stupid." And
It's
maybe
just
there'll
the-
be some Periphery fan who proves me wrong, but I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that's what I got from it.
I feel personally attacked by
You know,
that.
Josh
literally
literally
what
a
we
week
did.
ago just sent
Josh
us-
just comes in and throws his sticks at things like he just like. I'm out of drumsticks. Then he leaves, and we just get our
That's when the song ends.
yeah.
like 2 weeks ago we had practice.
Josh runs out of drumsticks. To
Oh, yeah, yeah. What the hell? Just chucking sticks. It's not even special anymore. Like they're throwing sticks to the crowd. I didn't even use these sticks. They're just out there. But a few weeks ago, we after practice we just hung out and watched some videos and stuff like that, and like we sat down in BS in Josh's living room and stuff like that, and we talked about Jared Dines. We watched one of his videos on his like the 20-string guitar. That's just like.
I haven't seen that one yet.
It's
but yeah.
ridiculous. It's all sorts of ridiculous. But I can remember talking about triggered drums. Josh sent a video the other day that was just one of those triggered drums versus real drums. What's better? And, oh man, it's just this guy's just sitting at the computer like I'm writing all the drum beats.
Yeah.
It's just
All right. So the album.
Mm-hmm.
the album.
The album.
Pray
For
for
EY.
me.
PREY.
EY?
EY.
Yeah.
It's pretty important. The play on words.
Yeah, the album is coming out soon, October 4th on all streaming platforms. I don't really know what else to say about it.
I mean,
besides that.
Let's say, like, we've been working on this album for 2 years,
Oh,
two and a half years. Because, some of these songs we started writing, like, almost 3-4 years ago.
Yeah.
And then they finally started getting, like, put down 2 years ago. And it's just kind of crazy. Like, all these songs, I think, you've listened to the whole album.
Yeah.
It's not one song even remotely the same as the other songs.
Yeah.
Every song's like its own unique style, but they all mesh.
Yeah.
Like, it's
what song is the one that has cliche in it?
Ammonia.
Oh fucking god, I love that.
Yeah.
Specifically the melody, right? on that.
There's actually a funny story about that one is that like Jason, our producer, was like, I have an idea. And he was like, don't come in until alcohol, which is like the
Oh, the
second
bass
like
drop.
the like second beat of the second verse. And so it's like, oh, this is a nice like acoustic song, and then just like drenched in alcohol.
Well, because when we initially wrote that song, the bass and guitar, everything started off at the same time, and it was literally like little fluttery bass lines, like it's like little melodic things up on like the 12.
Yeah.
And Jason's like, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't fit. It's I'm like, that's what I've always done.
just
3
come
years
in.
of music, like what, like 3 years of this song, and you just like, just coming on that, slide down in on that alcohol, and
There's
just,
the Kermit again.
I slid down for all the 3.
3 years of the song, Miss Piggy.
When he says alcohol, I just go batshit insane.
yeah,
What's the Spanish one called again?
Spanish Next.
Yeah. Who did the trumpet? Where'd that come from?
Oh, it was Jaden Bueno.
Dude, that's spoilers, people. There's a fucking trumpet in this album.
Yeah.
And man, some of those
killed it,
notes he
too.
hits towards the end are just like,
that
I was like-
slides he's doing.
Oh, he was awesome.
That's so good.
I was so like I didn't really think like Matt, like, do we really need trumpet? Like, are you serious? And then like
You did.
he comes to me with this like mixed trumpet, and I'm just like, fuck, we need a trumpet.
Yeah, we need a trumpet.
We need a trumpet.
That was a good idea.
Well, like some of
I
those
love that
slides,
shit.
they just like the just kill me, man. And it was fun because he had like barely had any time with the album. He had barely had any. We just brought him in, and like just put him in the booth and just said, try this. And then on top of that, we were recording him with our special microphone, the Copperphone, and mixing the Copperphone in with the dry signal just a little bit just makes it just.
That
Don't even
Copperphone
start
has
it.
just become like a staple.
That's our staple.
And
now.
a fun fact, you know the bass solo, kind of the beginning of the bass, kind
Yeah.
of big, open, crazy, kind of Latin-y, Egyptian-y kind of sounding almost in ways. I wrote that when I was 15.
Oh, really?
I wrote that solo when I was 15 years old for a Latin song that I played in the high school jazz band, and I opened the whole set to the jazz show with that intro, and I've kind of modified it and tweaked it a little bit in here and there, but the essence and a majority of what that is in the song is almost identical to a song I wrote when I was 15 years old, and I'm just like, I've always loved it since then, and I just wanted to kind of have that in something other than jazz.
Now it's there.
Yeah, so now it's
Dude, I fucking dare people not to go like for the listeners. I'm shaking my head back and forth, grooving.
a couple times there. Yeah.
Head bobbing a bit.
Okay, they said they got it.
Cool.
No, yeah.
Good.
Also for the
Have your phone number. The listeners have your phone number.
Matt's licking his lips right now seductively.
Aren't we all?
I dare people to not shake their head back and forth on the. I can't remember the names of these songs because I haven't.
Saint
listened to them.
Iscaria, I'm guessing.
Yeah. What's wrong with you?
Yeah, Saint
Everything.
I would have feeling because I shake my head in that song too.
Oh yeah, dude. It's
like,
just
just like-
it's just a good groove. I'm assuming Emma's in that one too because it sounds like there's a high.
No.
female
Well,
in
actually,
it.
no. Is a
That was
group vocal we did before
That song.
we.
That was like one of the first songs we recorded. So that song is old.
Yeah, we
And
actually had two pieces to the album that is like we recorded half of it in one studio, half of it in another studio, and the first half was recorded before Josh was in the band. Unfortunately, I mean, we just it's just different.
And
but
so
I mean,
Emma's not in no way involved in Saint Iscaria. She is now for the live show, but that's one of I was giving guitar lessons to a girl, Cecily, and she was giving me voice lessons on the side. So we were like trading lessons, and I just had her come in and just do some of her things
Nice,
that she
just
would do.
circle
Just
jerking
kind of
talents.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
only way
I
to
know
get a musician. Look at Yacht Rock.
Yeah.
I mean, like really though.
Yeah, it's just incestuous.
Sorry, you have to deal with these random
It's fine,
thoughts
it's
in my
No,
head.
it's why we're on
I don't-
podcasts.
yeah.
Like, what's a podcast without little slip-ins
little
of that's weird and inappropriate?
Circle jerks in there.
Yeah, a little cracker in the middle,
Occasional.
saltine.
Oh, right, a cracker in the middle.
Yeah.
I thought you were referring to me.
Well, aren't we all? Back to the album though. Like again, October 4th. This coming Friday. Hopefully, this is going to be out before then. I imagine. Like you're trying to throw this out the next day or two.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough.
Yeah. Kudos to you, my friend. But yeah, playing with Lord Vox and Beach Death at the Beehive, 666 South State Street, Salt Lake City.
Yep.
I think we are all just like beyond excited.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
this is like
'Cause
the show we've been waiting
here's
for
the
so
thing
long
about
for.
here's the thing about Pray For Me is that at this point in our first album, Praise the Goat, after 2 weeks after we finished recording it, mastered it, and released it, I hated the album. Like, I cannot listen to most of Praise the Goat now without cringing. And that's, I mean, I'm glad, but also it's kind of sad because I'm like, I hear songs where like, yeah, that song's so amazing. I'm just like, no, it's not. You're dumb, you know. But like, Pray for Me, I legitimately have not gotten sick of, and it's been finished for months now.
Dude.
Like legit, like we finished at the beginning of this year,
It's different.
practically, and so
Well,
and I'm
mean,
still listening to it all
you
the time.
you gave me the album like
Yeah,
it was before July. Yeah.
yeah.
I'll fucking fight you if you say Nashville's not a good song.
He will. He'll fight you all day. Like,
Oh
he'll-
yeah, and I hate Nashville Soul.
That's his least favorite
Fuck
song.
you!
It's his
Let's get
least
keep
favorite
the
song.
microphone
All right,
pointed at your
Mortal
face.
Kombat.
For the audio listener, I'm stabbing him
Oh,
with my
fuck.
microphone.
Oh, this is weird.
Wait, they're saying stop it.
Wow, they're humping each other now. What had just happened? Wait, what?
Your pants back on, Brett.
I got a message. They're like, well, no, stop, please. You were friends.
This is the content that they're looking for.
Yep.
Weird. That got oddly sexual right there.
They said no, stop. You're weird.
No, it's more like a
that's
no.
part of the fun.
Stop. Stop it.
I do like that song. I also like the one. Maybe we got time for that quick story. Like make it quick. Long ago, you just said this and didn't continue the story.
Oh, I know exactly what you're gonna.
Yeah,
ask me.
you fucking said that song's about when I got stabbed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, what?
Salted floor, everybody.
Yeah,
salted floor.
Yeah.
And you got your mom to write like
Eulogy.
a eulogy for if you had theoretically died.
Yep.
You like that song, don't you?
I do.
That
Salted
song is.
Floor.
Yeah.
Salted Floor is
There's-
really good.
Bitch.
Really good on
There's.
the.
I know every song he
Bitch.
hates from that album, and I know the few that he's just like, yeah, I'll still. That's.
Yeah.
And that's definitely one of them.
Salted Floor was written, so I have this scar. For the audio listeners, I have a scar on my arm that I'm pointing to right now. And we were hanging out. Yeah, they got the text.
Yeah,
cool.
they got the
that's cool.
text.
Okay,
So
cool.
I was just
I got
hanging
the
out with
text, not
friends.
them.
Yeah, we were just hanging out with friends, and this like just crazy guy just comes up and just jabs me with a knife. Like just jabs me.
He was in
No
a
idea who
warehouse,
he was
so
or
he's like
unprovoked or
teen.
anything?
Where were you?
Nope.
So we gotta back up. Matt's just like
Young
rushing this thing. He's
kids.
Like, this is teenage Matt. Just
preteen.
experiencing his like youth and just
Yeah.
trying to be rebellious.
Preteen rebellious Matt.
and wanting to go through an abandoned warehouse with his teenage friends. And be one of those guys that trespasses like an imbecile.
Yep.
And then he gets stabbed. That's the
That's
full-
it.
And then
So
he,
you deserved it.
and the funny thing is, I
basically.
feel like that scar has moved every time he's told that story because I could have swore it was on his ribs before, but
It is. So it went through my arm and then poked.
Oh, so he's like stabbed.
Yeah.
Oh my
okay.
God.
Yeah, I was thinking like a warning stab or something.
A warning
This is
stab.
the entry and exit wound, so that's why it's scabbed over, or not scabbed over, it's scarred over. Whereas he literally just poked me, like it was just like a drop of blood.
Oh fuck.
So yeah,
Wait, again, I'm not very clear
But
on who this dude was. You just
I don't
you were
know
in-
we
either.
don't know the guy
I
either.
don't
I've
know
never
either.
heard.
Wait, so
I
you're
don't-
in an abandoned place and somebody came unprovoked and stabbed you, and then
Oh,
did
shit.
you
And I
just
don't-
run off?
yeah.
And were your
and then
friends
his-
like, "Whoa, dude"? What?
They left and to call the cops, you know, because they weren't supposed to be there. So they left to leave and not get in trouble. But while they were leaving, they called the cops.
If you had to take a guess about why he targeted you,
Prettiest.
That pretty motherfucker needs a new
you
scar.
heard it here, everyone. Don't be pretty in an abandoned warehouse or a trespassing
Or
warehouse.
just don't be the,
The pretty
prettiest
girl
one.
always goes
Life
first,
pro
man.
tip.
Like you look at any
Life
good horror
pro tips.
movie.
Don't be pretty.
Exactly. So yeah,
Pretty
it's-
girls get stabbed.
Here's the thing: being a preteen, having something like that happen to you is traumatic. It really is. And so I just wrote the song being kind of melodramatic about it. Legitimately, it like I was bleeding a lot, and that's about it. You know, and it hurt. And like
It's
it
scary.
hurt. And it's scary for a preteen mind. So the song is purposefully kind of a little bit ridiculous. Like it goes real quiet and they're really loud. And I'm talking about my blood being a fountain and how it could fill an ocean. But it's like, no, it's not true. Like a guy just jabbed me with a knife and I went, ow, oh, what
Jabbed
the
you
fuck?
straight through
You
the arm.
know?
Honestly, you're saying it's melodramatic, but it's still better than what a lot of people do. Like some bad thing happens at a location they were at, and they're like, "Oh my god, I was there last Thursday, 40 weeks ago." And then it's like this dramatic
So,
thing where they could
yeah,
like,
the
contemplate
song
life.
the song is about me kind of overblowing something But that's the thing is my memory, as my memory serves, it was fairly traumatic because it was just it just came out of
It's
nowhere.
his big fish story, but it's a
Yeah.
good big fish story. So I mean,
Well,
like,
that's the
So,
nice thing
I-
about
'cause-
music is
well-
you can like take that moment like and save it.
Yeah.
Like
And
this is not
so-
dramatic because at the time it was fucking dramatic.
Yeah, and it was, but that's also kind of the point of the song is we have the really quiet vocals where I'm just kind of singing about the facts a little bit, and then it's like my blood is a fountain, and everything gets really loud and huge and big, and then it goes right back to being kind of like, why can't I just follow? Like why can't I just not do these things or be a follower or whatever? So that's kind of the point of the song is it's me over dramatizing something that is dramatic and is a great story. When I say this song is about the time I got stabbed, everyone wants to be like, what?
Yeah, clearly you've told it a ton because you're
Yeah.
just like, yeah, I got stabbed.
Yeah.
And then you walked away.
I
I'm
feel like
what?
earlier when we started playing the song, the story was a lot more intense, of course,
Yeah.
because it was just fresh and it was just like,
Yeah.
this is the song, this is what it's about.
Because I had written it.
And now it's just like, this is the time I got stabbed. Play the song. And
Yeah.
it's like, okay, well, good thing they don't know any
So you got
context.
stabbed,
Oh,
and I'm like,
That's
what?
That's how it is with everything. Like when you like break your ankle or twist something or whatever, the first person who asks what happened, it's like this dramatic, never-ending story, like tale with all these fancy details.
Yeah, and then
it
you're just
gets
like,
to
I
that,
tripped.
I got stabbed.
Yeah.
And then fuck off.
You just get tired of telling the same
Pretty much.
story over and over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we got about 5 minutes left, so I don't know
Cool.
if we want to.
On the new 20 minutes?
Yeah.
Fucking damn it, this time.
Damn.
It's going to take forever to edit. It's going to be great.
Podcasts go for
Okay, so what we do when we sign off, do you know?
No.
You didn't make it to the end
I've
of the
wa-
episode.
I'm
Gotcha!
I'm sorry. I have better things to do with my time.
And you're a cucks.
Do I look like the kind of guy who watches podcasts through to the end?
Now that you put your glasses
It's okay.
on.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't either. Like as soon as I start saying, "Okay, this is the end of our podcast," go like this, like done.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
the end of our podcast.
So we always do cuck off and then 2 claps after. I'm not going to tell you the pacing or anything because it's funnier that way.
Oh.
Cuck off!
Oh,
wow.
shit!
He's a drummer. I got rhythm. Mitch,
I was
Yeah, but the
prepped.
fact
I was
that you
ready. I was
knew
like,
the
this is
pacing
going to happen
we
now.
were going for, like, fuck, that was awesome.
Like, oh, it's right now.
You saw how fast his hands moved. Just like,
Thank you guys for coming.
Yeah.
oh, that was so
having
much
us,
fun.
Cuck you. And cuck you too. Cuck all of you.
Mother cuckers.